Alright, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a lovely day, a lovely night wherever you're from. And real quick before we get started, as always, I want to give a lovely shout out to the channel members on this channel. So thank you so much to these lovely commanders here that you see on screen. Thank you guys so much for your guys' constant generosity and support to me as always. It really means a lot to me, so thank you guys so much. And if you guys are actually interested in becoming a lovely commander yourself, if you are interested in any of these cute and lovely emotes, loyalty crown badges, you want a special role in the Discord, make sure to join the Discord. But as always, if you choose to do so, thank you so much. Just remember, that's not the only way that you can support me. Just watching the content like you are right now is truly the best way. Liking, subscribing, and commenting, everything really does help, so thank you guys so much. And for today's video, last night, Smilegate dropped a bunch of patch notes, as well as the PV for Sereniel, so we can get a good look at her kit within the patch notes. So we're going to be able to see what we're going to expect going forward when the update comes out. As always, timestamps for wherever you want to go down below. But let's get started, so let me scoot on over. And let's put it on screen right here. And as always, we are at Stovepost for the new update for the Forbidden Catalyst, giving us Chapter 3. So make sure that you finish up Chapter 2 if you care about the story. Not only that, but remember the Great Rift has 2 parts. The second half will be starting out, and then the first half ranking rewards can be claimed for 21 days after the first half ends. This is going to go from 1224 to 114. Remember, you need 2 teams of 3. Hopefully, we may be seeing another common theme here. We might be seeing another Cassius Tressa situation. We'll see. Hopefully, you managed to get everything. I barely managed to get that 500k before it ended, so that was really cool. And then the third supply store opened, so make sure you go for the major stuff here. Make sure you go for these first and then go for anything else. That's the priority. And then Galactic Disaster Improvements. They extended it just to match up with maintenance times, I believe, so it's nothing too major. Just from 113 to 114. So it's just going to happen right before maintenance, which makes sense. And then they changed the unidentified area gate of demise. It's going to be updated as follows. The choice text and narrative changes. Before, it asks about the elevator, and after, sees all power. No changes have been made to the rewards granted, but now for clearing the Chaos Laboratory 0, they're going to increase the amount of weekly progress to make it a lot faster. So rather than constantly doing runs, now it's going to be insane. Because all you need to do is at least play from level 4, and all you need to do is 2 runs, and boom, you're done. You're going to get that weekly progress done in no time. So, huge quality of life for just getting the weekly rewards done. I know a lot of people were waiting to see that. And the Spectral Cube, remember they mentioned this before in a previous dev notes, that the Spectral Cube is basically going to be currency that you get if you've already maxed out a 5-star combatant, and then you get another dupe of them. You're going to be getting this new Spectral Cube currency, and this is only for the 5 stars. So, unless you're like a huge Omega whale, or just maybe got like, unfortunately, like either unlucky or lucky depending on your point of view, and you've gotten the same command multiple times, and you've maxed them out, before you didn't get nothing. So now you are going to be getting something, and if you've already like, reached that, and you've already got like just nothing, you're going to be getting something in the mail. So look forward to that, and you can see that it's basically a redemption shop. So it's like a pity. So if, let's say you maxed out Veronica, and you don't need any more Veronica, yet you got one more, now you're going to get the Spectral Cube, and then you're going to be able to just redeem it in the shop for anybody you want. So that's pretty cool to see. And then the Spectral Cube exchange shop list, you see here, there's no purchase limit for a lot of these characters. And then Prism Module Masterpiece is only once a month. Prism Lenses, which is crazy that if you were to spend on that, I feel like that's like the worst value to go for. So just be careful with that. And then the multi-dimensional alignment material, maybe, but I still feel like dupe currency is like really precious. So I feel like that would be the priority. And then we have a lot of new events to talk about. Memoirs of the Bureau Chief of the Arc Protection Bureau underway. That is a mouthful. But the year-end commemorative event, Memoirs of the Bureau Chief of the Arc Protection Bureau, will be available. You can earn rewards by completing missions that unlock over time on the event page. You can see that this is going to be day 1 through 7. Each day there's going to be a new set of missions that you need to do in order to get material. So be ready for that. Just do them. They look really easy. Some of these are just like conduct counseling, send a present, do some battles, dismantle, really easy. And then a new event, Board the First Light underway. This is actually going to be a cute New Year commemorative event, and it's going to be based on the total amount of stamina that you're using during this period. You can clear these event nodes to earn completion rewards and discover Agent's Wishes notes. And this is going to go from 1224 to before maintenance on 114. And then node is going to be OP, and it's view the opening story. You're going to get 1 rate up pull, 1 Tear of God stamina, and then some traces of memory. And then for each node that you unlock, this one's using 200 either, and it goes up by 200 each time. Hopefully it's cumulative, because that would be insane if like on like day 8 or node 8, it asks you to do 1600 either. So it has to be cumulative, and you'll consistently get some good rewards here. So you might as well do it. So it's a little bit different than the other, you know, daily rate up stuff, because you have to spend your stamina, but everyone's doing that either way. And what's going to incentivize people to be using their stamina a lot more is the new Overdrive Simulation event. Basically, we are getting a double farm event. This is really good. So you're going to be able to earn double rewards from simulation each day. You can receive 2 times rewards for up to 6 simulation runs. This resets daily. This is going to go from 12:30 to 1:06. Specifically with this farming event, I think my priority might be for potentials. Potentials can be a lot. You need a lot of crystals if you really want to max out people. So hopefully, I'm still grinding for Sereniel, but hopefully this might ease up maxing her out, because I really want to do that. So that might be my focus. Let me know what you plan to do. And then returning user event. So if you are just coming back to the game, you're going to be getting this huge event. If you use, you know, stamina, you're going to be getting a bunch of little goodies here. For most people that are still playing right now, this is not really going to apply to you, but still cool for the returning players as well. But don't worry, because for everybody, we are getting a check-in event with a really cute chibi of Sereniel, by the way. I just want to say, that looks really cute. We are getting a 7-day check-in, and you're going to be getting 10 rate-up pulls and 5 normal pulls, so a total of 15 pulls for this 7 days. That's really nice to see. You can see the setup right here. Looks nice. And as always, I feel like we get these a lot, but we're getting raised gift, more prism modules as always. If you really like how Sereniel looks, you want to try to max her out a little bit, this is going to be your chance to get some more. So hopefully you can do that. Obviously, you only get a limited amount. I like that these aren't really like purchasable. I don't know. It just feels like a nice, precious like commodity. I kind of like it. And then we're getting the normal tactical simulation event so you can test her. This is going to be with Sereniel, Nia, and Selena. Now we move on to the spicy stuff here. With this rescue rate up for our lovely girl Sereniel, she is limited time. So make sure that you get her, because she's going to be here from 12:24 to 1:14 before maintenance. She is not going to be added to the normal combatant pool after the rate up period ends. And they says right here, these seasonal combatants may be re-released in the future. There is no time frame, so we don't know the next time we're going to see Sereniel. And then the probability is identical to the existing rate up, so they're not lower, which is nice. Rescue mileage is handled as followed. Mileage accumulated from previous rate up rescues carry over to the seasonal rate up, so it doesn't change. And then mileage accumulated during the seasonal rate up will carry over to the next rate up rescue. And then with memory codes sold in the combatant memory archive, it's still going to be here, and it's going to be 2, but this is only going to stay obviously until the maintenance comes up in 1:14. And then omega codes you already own can be used on seasonal combatants. So really generous with this idea that they're not going to be limited, and it won't work on these limiteds, so it works here. And then a prism module for the new combatant Sereniel will be added. So I'm going to go for those because those are limited, and I definitely want to try to get it on some cards that I like. The previous rate up combatant Chizuru will also be added to the normal combatant rescue pool as of this update, and Sereniel's messenger story will be added. Dude, let me tell you, guys, the wallpaper looks insane, so I'm fucking going for it. It looks so good, dude. But let's get started really quick, and let me move on over to Twitter just so we can get an idea, so we can get some additional info in regard to her. And with introducing Sereniel, they also introduced some mechanics. So this is the same image that you just saw, and it says, "I am Sereniel, the angel who has come to rescue you." Remember, she's an instinct hunter. Hopefully you're farming that. She looks really cute. Looks really, really stacked, by the way, can I just say. She's a combatant skilled in applying pressure and attacking enemies in multiple ways. Now, alongside this, we also have her mechanics here. Sereniel utilizes her exclusive buffs Afterglow to inflict high tenacity damage, and the trait for homing laser causes it to return to hand. Now, some of this might not make sense. We're going to get context soon. We'll talk about the kit, but I just want to talk about the mechanics so you can get an idea. And then after triggering Ravage on an enemy, it allows her to unleash combo attacks for continuous pressure. So remember, based on what they showed off during the roadmap video, she's a character that you want to break their tenacity and have them be in Ravage so she can just keep hitting them. It looks really satisfying, so I'm really excited to see how that plays out. But point 1, you use the homing laser as much as possible before triggering Ravage and discarding it to the graveyard. Then use the AP gain from Ravage to play high cost cards. And then point 2, as Sereniel specializes in deck cycling to gain AP through Ravage, It is recommended to form a team that enhances defensive performance, thereby improving overall battle stability. So she needs some backup. And with that, they also provided some recommended synergies here. Some interesting ones like Khalif right here, shield, tenacity, damage support, but also because of some of her cards, you might be able to get away with activating Silver Veil a lot more, and also having Mika here just for heals and AP. And then the second team with Selena and Nia, maximizing tenacity damage, deck cycling, and draw support, especially from Nia. And then the final team, which is also interesting, is with Chizuru and Rei, and it mitigates the inhibit effect and maximizes multi-hit damage. That one looks really cool, and I'm kind of interested in that, especially because I believe one of the cards for Sereniel is also a multi-hit, which will coincide with helping Chizuru build up her Shadow of the Moon Plus. So I think that might be pretty cool. So just a nice idea to see what we get, which is kind of interesting because we do have the full kit here, and you see her different levels right here with the percentages if she's at E6 or E1 or E0, sorry, and also with her affinity level. That's why it's important to get affinity up, because there is a lot that you can miss out on just from stats. So that's really important. Now, let's start talking a little bit. So, starting cards, she has Pulse Fire. She has 2 of these Pulse Fire cards. You can Epiphany them, and it deals 100% damage for 1 cost card. She does have a shield card, like always. More than likely, you're going to be replacing that. And then she also has a Homing Laser. This deals 100% damage and has Afterglow 2. And then on Ravage, move from graveyard to hand. This is a 0 cost card, and it can be Epiphanied. Now, what is Afterglow? Well, remember, when we go look at the exclusive effects here, Afterglow, it gives +1 to tenacity damage of attack cards, but it adds a 50% damage bonus if they are already in a Ravage state, and then when this effect is activated, it decreases Afterglow by 1. So that, just keep that in mind. And then on Ravage, it moves from graveyard to hand. So as soon as you break their tenacity, you're going to get this card back. Now, Plasma Missile. You deal 120% damage, and you do tenacity damage of 0.5. But if the target was not ravaged, so you're still trying to break it, you trigger this one more time, meaning you'll be dealing 240 and 1 tenacity damage. That's really good as well. Now we have Shining Core. You create 2 Homing Laser L cards, and this is a 1 cost card, same as Plasma Missile. They are both Epiphanied. Now, here's the thing. What is Homing Laser L? Homing Laser L is this card right here. It has Exhaust 2, and you deal 60% damage, and then it has Afterglow 1, same as before. On Ravage, move from graveyard to hand. Remember, the Afterglow does the +1 tenacity and the 50% damage in a Ravage state. So you do generate a good bit of cards here with this. Interested to see what kind of epiphanies that you can get with this, because it kind of looks insane. And then we have another card, Cobalt Light, which also can be epiphanied at a 3 cost of AP. You deal 120% times 4 damage to random enemies, and a tenacity damage of 1 per hit. That can be really cool. Cannot wait to see what kind of epiphanies, because that looks insane. And then we also have Pale Shooting Star. You deal 150% damage, and then activate 3 Homing Laser cards in your draw pile and graveyard. This is a 2 cost. This does not have an epiphany. So this is more than likely like a unique in a way. And then card generation, we already mentioned the Homing Laser L that you get from Shining Core over here. But then we also have Firepower Amp, which is plus 10% damage to attack cards for 1 turn, max 5 stacks. You might be wondering, what is Firepower Amp? This actually comes later for one of her Manifest Egos, and it's right here, her Inner Memory, which is about number 4. And it's Sereniel gains a Firepower Amp effect for each Homing Laser that is moved to hand on Ravaging. And then Firepower Amp, plus 10% damage to Sereniel attack cards. So for each card, for each Homing Laser card that is moved to her hand on Ravaging, she's going to gain that bonus, and that's why it has a maximum stack of 5. And then we have her Ego skill, or her Burst, Death Halo, and it deals 400% damage to all enemies, and it moves all Homing Laser Ls in Exhaust pile to hand, and this has an Ego point skill of 6, so very, very expensive, but I wonder how strong that is going to be. And then we have Sleeping Memory, plus 50% damage to Pale Shooting Star, and changes the number of activatable Homing Laser cards to 5. Remember, Pale Shooting Star is this card right here that you cannot Epiphany, and it's going to add a plus 50% damage, so rather than 150, it's going to go to 200, and instead of activating 3 Homing Laser cards in draw pile, it's going to be 5, so you get 2 more. So that's a really good quality of life just at E1. But E2 is the crazy one. So at the start of the battle, you create 2 homing laser L cards just at the start of the battle for the first turn. And then on the turn draw, if one of those cards is a homing laser, you're going to draw 1. This is really good, especially to just get the deck cycling going for her. I feel like, especially more so now with this limited, this E2 is really strong, and the deck cycling is going to go crazy for her. But also, I feel like it's been common for E2s to just kind of be the sweet spot for a lot of people. But more so this time, you can really tell that E2 is where you really want to be. Because after this, it's just kind of like, okay. Like, with her E3, you get plus 50% damage to Death Halo, which is the burst, and apply haste to each homing laser. So, this changes the Manifest Ego. So, not only do you deal 450% damage now rather than 400, it's going to apply haste to each of your homing laser L cards, meaning that for each homing laser L card that you use, it's not going to lower the boss's, like, turn count, basically, before he starts, you know, attacking you. But I feel like it really depends in this case, because I feel like in most battles, you're going to be already going past it or going to another turn or something. So it might not be that useful for some people. And then we have Inner Memory, which is the Sereniel gains a firepower amp effect for each homing laser that is moved to hand on Ravaging. And to take advantage of this, like, if you really want to, like, fully max out your usage for her, you could probably go to dupe 4. I'm thinking about it. It depends if I want to pull for E2 or just pull for, you know, E1 and then just maybe use my dupe copy or something. I'll think about it, but we'll see. Because if you really want to max her out, you probably want to go to dupe 4. And then Complete Memory, you increase the potential levels of basic card upgrades, unique card upgrades, and common card upgrades by 3. And then her final, when an ally inflicts Ravage, Sereniel inflicts 80% damage for each segment of the Ravage target's max tenacity. When an ally does try to inflict Ravage and breaking the tenacity bar, for each bar that is broken by an ally, Sereniel will be dealing 80% damage for each of those bars, so it can go up a good bit. So that's pretty cool. But still, I feel like E2 is going to be the sweet spot, and then maybe E4 if you really want to max her out for being limited. I'm thinking about it. We'll see. It really depends. It depends on my mood if I want to be shafted hard, because I'm risking more 50-50. But I'll think about it, because I don't know how much I want to spend, you know? But other than Sereniel, we do have to talk about her Rescue Raid-Up partner, because she is also limited, so Peko or Peko, however you want to pronounce her name. She may be re-released in the future. We're going to have to see how that works, especially with reruns in this game. We don't know yet. We're still just kind of going through it, just vibing for now. Itsuki's also going to be added. The same thing as before. The normal mileage accumulated is going to carry the same way as follows, so that's pretty cool, depending if you want to just use your dupe currency and just spend it here to just grab her without having to use pulls. Completely up to you. Meet Peko, the mechanical maintenance specialist. She looks cute, it's just not my kind of character, you know? But other than yapping about her, we gotta talk about what she does, her passive, her multi-purpose kit. The assigned command's attack is 8, because obviously we're just going for the 1 copy, and then when the assigned command's card moved from graveyard to hand, you gain 1 Repairs Complete. Repairs Complete is a plus 10% damage to attack cards of this unit during the battle. This can be a maximum 3 stack, so for us it's going to be 30%, because more than likely you're only going for the single copy. And then increase damage of the assigned command attack cards that are used against Ravage targets by 15 to 30%. Clearly targeting Sereniel here. And then her Ego skill, Overclock Beacon, which costs 3. When an ally inflicts Ravage, you get 1 overclock to the assigned combatant. So if an ally is inflicting Ravage, this is going to give Overclock, which is a plus 25% critical chance for 1 turn. This can only happen once per turn. I think that's really strong, just in the idea that critical chance is something that is a lot of people's kind of goals to try to go for, to have like a high crit chance rather than crit damage. I think you might be seeing some nutty plays with her. If not, you might be able to use Yuri, which is like a 3-star combatant, but I feel like more so you might want to just pick her up for just being limited. If you don't care about FOMO, then completely ignore it, that's fine. We also have the new Basin of Hyperspace. New season begins. This one is going to have a support effect, which on Ravage increases morale and equal to the maximum value of the tenacity of the Ravage monster for 1 turn. So clearly this one is going to be targeting Sereniel. Not really surprised by that. Chaos Mission changes and notes. New Chaos Missions will not be entered using the story team. If they're played with the story team, you're not getting save data. We're getting Arc City Excursion improvements. When a combatant is marked as favored in Unigram or the text messaging system, they will now appear in available outing areas after 1800 UTC each day. Owned combatants will now appear even in previously locked areas of the city, so make sure you're unlocking that through the research. And then Battle Mission Abyss added. Battle Mission additions and improvements. Battle Mission Chapter A will be unlocked, with both normal and hard difficulties being added. Normal difficulty unlock condition achieve Elite Captain. Clear Chapter 7 normal BO6. Dude, I'm still trying to grind to unlock it. Like, slow down, guys, because I have not been able to play it for a hot minute. And then we have hard difficulty unlock condition achieve, Elite Captain. Clear Chapter 7 normal BO6 and Chapter 7 hard BO6. A new battle mission difficulty Abyss will be unlocked. Battle mission Abyss chapters 1 through 3 will be unlocked. Unlock condition, you have to clear hard chapter 3 B6. The Abyss difficulty features enemies of a higher level than hard difficulty. You can earn rewards by clearing missions. Enemies that possess rare species or gain increased damage after a certain number of turns will also appear, so we encourage Protoss to take on the Abyss challenge. And then Arc City disaster scenario improvements. The progression flow of Arc City disaster scenarios will be improved, basically the little policies that you do in the Arc City. Disaster scenarios will focus on carrying out relief operations to restore city management index values reduced by disasters. Readability of text and calamity relief operations will be improved. City management index icons will now be displayed for each operation objective. Objectives that fall below required city management index values will now be shown in red text. When assigning aids, their affinity level will now be visible. Aids will be sortable by affinity level during assignment, and then when assigning aids, commands in a deep trauma state will be identifiable. And then on the policy selection screen, it gauges for increased and decreased indices will now feature highlight effects. The background of the operation result will now be changed based on the outcome, and the policy office background. And then the policy office background will be updated to better match each disaster scenario's theme. So just some small things here and there. We got an interesting one that we need to talk about, and that is improved fates for the chaos. So they're reworking a lot of the ones with low efficiency or low selection rates, and they reworked satiety. This one is kind of a red flag. Honestly, this is probably like the worst one. So before, if you're just redoing runs and just quickly exiting because you're trying to get like, the 2 removal card, before it didn't really punish you because all you would do is just get max health and it's like, whatever, I don't care. But now you get 1 random common neutral card. So it really does not incentivize you restarting runs. And I kind of think that's a little shitty because I understand that they're trying to prevent burnout for players by kind of punishing them, but at the same time, let players play how they want. If they burn out, then that's on them. And if they bitch, then we'll just tell them then you shouldn't have just burned yourself out. Like, I feel like forcing people to play a certain way is just not that great. But that's just me. Now, if you really want to try to do like reset runs, you have to get to the first waypoint, which is shitty, or you just deal with whatever you get and just go. But let me know how you feel about that. Then we have Courtship. Remember, this was the Aether Eater, the cute little pink dog thing, will appear in one of the normal battle areas. That changes now, so now it's when entering an elite area, it decreases the health of monsters by 20%, which that one actually sounds nice. And then improved fates. So they changed Revelation, which guarantees a piece of legendary equipment while receiving an equipment reward from elite areas, to happening twice now. So it's the same thing, but now you get it twice. So you get 2 legendary equipment, and then Tenacity, which is decreased health by 50%, and then upon arriving at a waypoint, you get 2 random legendary items. Now, it takes away the waypoint requirement, so now it just decreases your health, and then you get 2 legendary items. And then there is Hope, which is upon victory in normal battle areas, there's a 30% chance for a random piece of rare equipment to appear as a reward. Now it's on winning the battle in a normal battle area, there's a 30% chance for a random to rare legendary grade equipment to appear as a reward. And then with Prudence, you lose 100 credits, obtain 1 random legendary neutral card. Now you lose 50 and you get a chance to obtain 1 of 3 legendary neutral cards. Mistreatment, upon each victory in unidentified areas, you gain 50. Now it's on entering an unidentified area each time, you get 25 credits. And the Gluttony, what they did was take away the current health by 30%. So now it's on each move to a new area, you obtain 10 credits. And then Encouragement, rather than just having 1 randomly displayed item twice be 50% off, now it's on entering the delaying shop each time, 1 random displayed item will be 100% off 3 times, which is actually nice. And then Tranquility, reducing the number of break recovery cards by 1, they changed it to 2. And then Persevere, rather than recovering 5%, you get 10%. Normal commodity packages being added as always. There is going to be a year-end New Year's Eve greeting. When you enter the lobby on December 25th, the command assigned to your lobby will deliver a holiday greeting, and then on January 1st, you will get a New Year's greeting. That's really cute, so make sure that you do this when logging into the game. change the home background to a special illustration or combatant, and you'll get a nice greeting. So that's really cute to see. A lot of improvements, but the one that I really wanted to highlight personally, like compared to all of this, is the mythic equipment. They just changed like how it works. So rather than like being forced to stick with one, now if you find another piece of mythic equipment that you want to put on a character and you're like, oh shit, I wanted to replace it, rather than being told you can't, now you can actually swap them. So that's pretty cool. There's going to be a new playback speed for identified areas, and then now some good reduced for some bosses, because the difficulty of battles featuring Gloomy Godmother, Wolf's Bane, and Empty Mouths will be reduced. Wolf's Bane always kicked my ass sometimes. Either I would either do great or it would be a run ender. So really cool to see that. Then they also changed the description of 5 equipment items. So when they say at the start of the battle, it would just always be there. It was always a permanent buff. But because of the way that it was poorly worded, some people would think it was just only at the start of the battle, and after that turn, it's gone. That's why you see now that the Amorphous Cube at the start of the battle plus 25, now it just says plus 25. And then the Golden Roll before at the start of the battle, now it's just plus 20% damage and shield gain. Bloomy's Prime Eye before at the start of the battle, now it's just plus 40% shield. Rune Lance, when using 5 or more AP, plus 25% damage, shield, and gain. Now it's only 1 time per battle, so this thing sucks. Now it's even worse. So that's kind of funny. This one with immunity, it really doesn't matter. Immunity is not really that relevant for us. But other than that, just some bug fixes and stuff. But there was a lot going on, man. So really excited for this update. Let me know what you're planning to do with Sereniel. Are you just going for the single copy? Are you going for E2, E4? Let me know. I'm really tempted to go for E4, but I'm going to think about it. We'll see. Let me know what your thoughts are on this whole patch notes. Are they cooking? Are they not? Honestly, my only red flag is the idea that they changed satiety, because now we have to deal with having a card. I doubt you're going to be able to get rid of it, but we'll see. That is going to be it for me, so I hope you guys have a lovely day, lovely night wherever you're from, and as always, thank you so much for the constant support. Take care, and have a good one.